37-11 on this video through 3 weeks of football. In today's video, I've got 6 upset picks, and I'm going to sprinkle in a little player prop talk for my fellow degenerates. No time to waste, let's go. First game you're looking at Seahawks traveling into Arizona. I'm taking the Seahawks money line here. Now, I posted my betting model on Tuesday night, and Seattle at the time was plus odds. Pretty incredible. Now, a ton of sharp money came in on the Seahawks to win this game, despite only 49% of the tickets taking them. What a great indicator. And now, as of Wednesday morning, they're sitting at minus 114 over on No Big Sportsbook. And I expect this number to continue to rise. That closing line value is going to be elite for the plus odd bettors. When we start talking about the totals, one thing needs to be kept in mind. In 2023, 60% of Thursday night football games hit the under. That's a lot. Last season, only 52%. So far through 3 weeks, 2 of the 3 games have hit the under. And this number of 43.5 is quite important. And there's a handful of numbers in sports betting, specifically for football, that are incredibly important to make sure you get. 43.5 is one of them. 20-20, kick a field goal, now we're at 43. You see this happen from time to time. There's a handful of these total hurdles, let's call them hurdles, that are important for betting when you're taking an over or an under. Same thing for sides. 3 points for a field goal. If you can get a team on the road at plus 3.5, that's phenomenal. You get the field goal and the hook. Same thing for 7 points, the touchdown and the hook. Or if you get to cover a team who lays minus 6.5, well, that's awesome. Because if they win by 7 points, a single touchdown, your bet wins. So keep those in mind when you see these betting lines from week to week. That 43.5, the betting model likes the under. It's in the bottom half of the confidence rankings based on the 10,000 simulations. So I'm not in love with it, but I think we could see some inefficient offense on Thursday night. Now, I always like to sprinkle in some player prop talk because I'm an absolute degenerate. And if that's you, just do me a huge favor, like this video. And down below, I want you to tell me if you're taking it or you're fading it. And if you're fading it, tell me why you don't like this pick. I like Jackson Smith-Njigba to rack up 80-plus receiving yards. I posted this Tuesday morning at 78.5 for my VIPs, and that's important because right here is the VIP record. And you can see I've profited in all 3 weeks of the NFL season. That's this far right column on your side of the screen. If you include my preseason, I've actually profited in all 4 weeks of the NFL for over plus 16 units for my personal picks. And one of my personal picks for the week is JSN over 78.5 receiving yards. Now that line's going to continue to move. I put it out there in the world. I have a decent following that bets on my stuff through my Discord and on these social media apps. So that number is going to climb. But I guess that's part of the elite value of being inside the VIP. That link is down below if you want it. It's right there. It's the tails.bet/DFS and Donuts picks. Moving on. Now, I told you 6 upsets today. Give me the Steelers. Now, this one is in Dublin, Ireland. I've seen people talk about it, and you got to be careful. They're already saying Steelers are at home in week 4. No, they're not. They are being designated as the home team, but they're playing in Dublin, Ireland. Now, here's the deal. Both teams are 2-1. Vikings coming off a 40-point thumping of the Bengals. They racked up 34 points by halftime. 2 defensive touchdowns. Carson Wentz looked manageable. He managed the offense. I wouldn't say anything was special with him, but it definitely was a step up from what we saw from J.J. McCarthy. But I'm not a believer in Wentz. I'm also not a believer in Aaron Rodgers. But I think as a well-rounded team, as long as Rodgers doesn't turn the freaking ball over every other snap, they should be okay. And in these games where I see these toss-ups, and this is one of the 6 upset picks of the day, when I see these toss-ups between 2 volatile teams with volatile quarterbacks, I want to embrace the volatility and try to make more money betting on it. Now, we talked about the hurdles, right? 3 points, 7 points, the important ones for the NFL. Well, unfortunately, the Steelers come in at 2.5. However, and I don't say this is a best idea because I always like taking the better odds. You will see people do this, is they'll grab an alt spread and take a juiced line. And this is why I don't like doing it. They do want to take the 3 and the hook at plus 3.5, meaning as long as they lose by a field goal or fewer points, then you would win your bet at minus 154. I don't like it. And if I'm not taking a plus 3.5, I might as well just take the money line. It's rare that you get the 30 to 28 type outcomes where the 2.5 would help you. That being said, the Steelers did that in week 1 against the Jets 34-32, and the Jets covered at +2.5. So take that for what it's worth. Next up, we're going to talk about the Commanders and the Falcons. We've got another very close spread. This time the Commanders are on the road. Is it Mariota? Is it Jaden Daniels? Is Atlanta going to get thumped again like they did against the Panthers, who we're going to talk about later, and their interesting spot against the Patriots this week? I'm telling you, this is a great week to bet on football. I'm so excited. I'm going to temper my energy and emotions today, but it is bubbling at the surface. I think this is a great week to make money. This, my friends, is a very interesting game. And I think before we can bet on it, we need to talk about the Jaden Daniels situation. So Jaden Daniels, I think the Commanders are probably going to look at what happened last week and the offense pouring on some points and say, go ahead and rest that knee. Dan Quinn already said, we're going to take a look at him on Wednesday in practice and see what he can do. See what types of drills he can do. So it sounds like the plans are for him to be limited in some sort of fashion, and that's a good thing. And I'm going to tell you this, if it's not, and he ends up being out, Mariota, he kept the offense humming along. He's pretty much like Jaden Daniels light, despite the fact that he's in like year 13. At one point in time, he was an elite upside running quarterback, and he tried to show it off this past week. It was fun to watch him go out there and be successful. Atlanta on the other side, Michael Penix Jr. is struggling. He gave Atlanta Falcons, probably just the fan base, I guess, some hope at the end of last season when he came on for Kirk Cousins. This season, grumbles and rumbles out there in Atlanta. Hotlanta, real upset about what they've seen so far from Penix Jr. He does not look comfortable. Now, they are at home, they are hosting, but the Commanders are like NFC Championship level talent. Atlanta, they're going to scratch and claw their way to try to be a potentially at best a 500 ball club. Now, they're going to be playing with some emotion, some passion, I would hope. Otherwise, there's big issues out there after getting beat down by Carolina the way they did. For me, I want the Commanders. Again, we're talking volatility, my friends. Volatility in the teams, the matchup. And then it comes down to this. It's the quarterbacks. We got a volatile spot. You're giving me pretty good odds for the money line, and I get to bet on either Mariota, who I'll take over Penix Jr. at this moment, or Jaden Daniels. Give me the Commanders on the road. Think they win this one outright. Now, look at the Chargers spread at -6.5. Now look at their money line. Let's talk about this in a hot second. I'm going to do my best not to confuse you. But first, let's talk about something very important for the rest of this video and the upcoming upset picks I'm about to make for you. Put your listening ears on. This is important information. Over the last 7 seasons, 68%, I'm going to round up and down for these numbers, 68% of teams that are favored have won their game outright over the last 7 years. It means 2/3 of the games. So far, through 3 weeks of the NFL season, just under 80% of the favored teams have won their games. Now, when you start to dive into the metrics of the actual favored odds and at what levels, you start to find that, well, the more favored they are, the higher the win rate. And guess what? The Chargers heavily favored. And that fact is actually also why I really like a lot of upsets this week. As you start to get down to close to that like -105 to -115 range, the win rate is only at 60%. 6 out of 10. And that's why teams like the Steelers, and not this game, and later the Panthers, yes, I'm going to talk about the Panthers as an upset special, and a handful of others are interesting plays for week 4. Now, maybe even more importantly for YouTube reasons, I've noticed in the comments, specifically for this video, just how confused people are betting on sports. So let me help you. Last week I went 12-4. The week prior went 12-4. The week prior to that I went 13-3. That's 37-11 on this video. Now, if you blindly bet on every single bet, you would have walked away probably break even. And why is that? Because you're betting on some teams like the Packers at -500 and they end up losing and you're crying in the corner of the room. Of course, I'm picking the Packers over the Browns. What would you like me to do? Choose the Browns in that situation? No. But again, about 15% of the time at -500 or more, the underdog does win their game. The NFL, any given Sunday. But here's how you make money. So far, out of the 48 games that I've made picks for this season, put your nerd hat on. Listen closely, because I'm about to tell you how to make money using these picks. So if you come back crying in the comments after, that's your fault. Somebody reply to that person with the timestamp of this message. Out of the 48 picks, 22 of them on this video have been at straight odds viable picks. What I mean by that is their odds are at -160 or better, -150, -140, +110, +140. Just no worse than -160. 22 of those picks. 15 of them are winners. for a profit of 6.25 units. That's 15-7 for over 6 units profit. Out of the rest of the picks, those are going to be the juicier plays, the minus 200s, the minus 300s. Those are 22-4. If you are watching this video and you can't make money using these picks with that 3 weeks record, then I don't know what to tell you. Don't overthink this stuff. I know why you're losing, and you do too. Let's be honest with yourself. You're parlaying 4, 5, 6 legs together, and that ain't how you bet on sports for a long-term profit. That's also not what this show is for. Stop parlaying everything. Now, I teased the Chargers and Giants talk earlier. Minus 260. Of course, I'm taking the Chargers here. They're a much better team than the Giants. They're 3-0. Yes, they're on the road. We saw the Giants play inspired football, I guess, to an extent. But it was also like the most uninspiring presentation of a football team on prime time against the Chiefs. And it led to Russell Wilson losing his job. Does Jackson Dart come on and lead this team to victory? Maybe. I mean, it could happen. We already know that about 30% of the time, these juicy odd teams will lose. Could it happen? Sure. Is there a chance for this? Absolutely. But I wish this were 7.5. Because it's not, give me the Chargers to cover it, minus 6.5 as well. Keenan Allen probably scores for his 4th straight game. Now let's talk about the Bills. This is a terrible spot to bet on sports, in my opinion. Bills money line, you can't touch. They're actually so bad. It's so juiced that it's not even worth putting in a parlay. I don't use these types of lines. When you get to around like a minus 700 or so, that's kind of where I hit the eject button and I'm no longer parlaying it. I did that 2 weeks ago, or last Thursday. Last Thursday Night Football, I posted it on YouTube. I took the Bills money line at minus 700 with James Cook for an anytime touchdown, and we got, I think, plus 115 for it. We used the boost, but I think it was minus 110 or so without the boost. That's kind of what I like to do with those types of teams. But minus 1,600, I mean, here's the deal. Well, I guess it's minus 1,270 over here. On Novig, minus 1,270. I'm choosing them. When you get to this long odds, it's over 90% of the time these teams win. So, yeah, I'm picking them. But don't come back in here, other than Saints fans, on Monday morning or Sunday night at midnight after you've been kicking back all day, leaving silly comments. You're such a dum-dum. You picked the Bills and they lost. Did you really think the Saints were winning? Well, then show me the ticket that you put down for them at plus 1,000, you liar. Of course I'm picking the Bills. And I'm a biased Bills fan, so there's that too. And I'm going to be real. I think the Saints might be one of those teams this year. I just don't bet on their games. This is different. The Saints might be the worst in the NFL. And I think every single time you bet on their games, you're going to be in a volatile spot. Let's move on. All right, we're going to talk Texans and Titans. And this is an uncomfortable one. I think this is basically a make or break game. I like the Texans to win. I think they finally come through. The offensive line has got to fix some things up out there for Houston. And I'm taking them to win at home against the Titans. I'm not a believer right now in Mr. Ward out there for the Titans. He's struggling. That offense does not look good. Now, the Texans have looked wretched offensively. But this is it. They're either going to start the season 0-4 in front of their home crowd in this one against the hapless Tennessee Titans, or they're going to muster up some courage and go out there and play some good football. I don't know what's going to happen, but I am betting on them to win this game. Now, here's the deal, my friends. In this video, I do make one pick for every game. I always have, I always will. 37 wins out of 48 picks. That's 37-11. Do your math. And this is one of them. I pick them. Am I betting on them? Ain't no way I'm betting on the Texans, but I'm picking a winner for you. Moving on. Before we get to the Eagles and Bucks, which could be absolutely electric to bet on, hold on to your butts. That's going to be a fun one. We're going to do that in a second. I've actually finished plus 4 units or more in each of the first 3 weeks of the NFL season. Again, tails.bet/CFS and Donuts picks. It's the only place you can get the VIP picks. And remember, every video you see on YouTube here that I post, I pick one pick for every game. That's going to amount to about 50 plus picks on YouTube. VIPs had 10 last week. It's a very consolidated list. Moving on. Let's breeze through a couple games here, but not this one. Eagles, Bucks. Could be a great game. The Eagles with the all-time comeback and cover last week against the Rams, down 26-7. Rams bettors at plus 3.5 got absolutely burned at the end of the game with the blocked field goal return for a tutty. Both teams are 2-1 against the spread. Both teams are under this season in 2 of their 3 games. For the total, again, I hate totals. Tampa is at home, but I'm telling you right now, Despite the fact that the Bucs have played some good football, they've won close game after close game. And maybe this is my own issue here. Not that they're going to turn back into a pumpkin by any means. They're a very good team. But at some point, they're going to lose these close games, right? And that Baker magic can't go on forever, can it? I don't know. I'm taking the Eagles in this one. I think they can also cover at -3.5. Now, you know I love talking player props. Jalen Hurts continues to be a good value in the sports betting community, and he's cashed me in all 3 weeks this season for an anytime touchdown. There's a good chance, I haven't looked at the odds yet, there's a good chance I go back to the well and play him for a 4th straight week as an official VIP pick, but I have no freaking clue. It's Wednesday early morning, and I'm not even through coffee number 2. I got some work to do before VIP stuff goes out. But give me the Eagles on the road against the Bucs. Should be very competitive. Unlike this game here, where I think it's an absolute blowout. Sooner or later, Cleveland's defense is going to buckle under the pressure. A team like Detroit is the type of team that can grind them into a pulp. We just saw what they did to the Ravens, running over every single player for 60 minutes. Then he barely needed to move the ball down the field through the air. They even had a 97-yard touchdown drive. Now, the Ravens' defense sucks. Cleveland's is actually pretty good. They're great against run D. But sooner or later, I'm telling you, they can't keep playing these games where the opposing team has the time of possession at 45 minutes, 42 minutes. They're going to get tired. They're going to start to break down. And you get those Cleveland early turnovers or 3 and outs and, field position, and the other team, short drive. They're racking up points. I think that could happen in spades here. Detroit coming home off a huge Monday night win on the road. They're fired up. They're ready. It is a short week, but I don't care. I think we're talking about a team way up here versus a team way down here. Now, I don't like the spread as much. It opened at -7.5 and it's moved 2 points. This is the type of play where we just talked about this earlier. James Cook paired with the Bills money line. Well, check this out. I know you're all here for some player prop talk. Let's plug in the Detroit Lions money line. We'll go to the touchdown market. And yeah, I'm going to my boy Jahmyr Gibbs. Continues to get red zone opportunities over David Montgomery. D-Money had himself a day. Let's be real. If you like him more, you can plug him in. It's a -143. Now, you're going to get a ton of boosts and opportunity around this industry, including some on Noveg every week lately. Use code DONUTS, DONUTS, when you sign up. It's worth every penny, I'm telling you right now. 40-plus states are legal. All right, we're officially into the 4 o'clock hour. I've decided to put myself down here in the corner. Let's change up the vibes a bit. This is going to be a fun game. Maybe not to bet on, but I think it'll be a good one to watch. The Rams took the fattest L ever in week 3. I can't believe they crumbled the way they did. 26-7 lead blown. Looked like they were going to pull it out at the end with the field goal blocked. Then the guy scoops it. Was Johnson. Scoops it and runs 60, 70 yards for a touchdown. And then the Rams don't even cover the +3.5. An absolute meltdown of epic proportions for so many things. And while I do think the Rams are the better team, I'm going to be real. I'm taking the Colts at +167. How uncomfortable is this going to be? Very. The Colts are 3-0, but I still think the Rams are better. But it's hard to pass up a +167 for a very good team like the Colts. They are well-rounded. Danny Dimes not turning the ball over. Looks great. Looks comfortable. Jonathan Taylor looking like potentially the best in the NFL at the position this season. And that defense is better than people think. And I did forget, and I will circle back to the Panthers, but let's finish this one here. Kyron Williams has rushed for over 63.5 rushing yards in all 3 of 3 games. Going back to last season, he's only missed the mark of 60+ in 2 games out of all 2024 playoffs and this season. It's insane. Puka Nacua continues to be my favorite player in the NFL. The latter, his receiving yards always is in the 70s, and you can play him at 80+, 90+, 100+, and nothing's changed this week. I think it's probably going to be a great play. There's a lot to like in this game. On my Friday video, the best bets for player props, I'm going to take some extra time in this one. I'm going to talk about laddering bets and how to ladder them and make some money. On the Sunday morning live show, we laddered Christian McCaffrey at 50+ receiving yards, Puka Nacua, I think, at 90+ or 100+ receiving yards, and both cashed. It was a +1100, I believe. I'm going to talk about that stuff on Friday's Best Bets video, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn your noties on. Now, the gamer forgot, the Panthers and the Patriots. Now, I need to go full screen to talk about this real quick one more time. Volatile teams, bad teams, like the Patriots and the Panthers, -200s win about 67 to 68% of the time. It's not elite. It's nothing insane or special. which means you have an opportunity at times to make some serious money betting on the dogs. And this is another dog of the day. It's the Panthers on the road. Now, if you're uncomfortable with it, okay, fade it. It's your money. It's your experience. Or if you're like, well, I still believe you, but I just don't want to play it. Maybe consider taking the spread instead. That way, if it's close and they lose, but you can cover the plus 5.5, maybe they lose by 3, 20-17. You can scratch the itch. You can run with the crowd. You can run with my fam, but not need them to win. Up to you. Do what you want. Jags and Niners. Jags on the road. San Fran. Won a close one against the Cardinals, 16-15. Mac Jones, 2-0 right now. Beat the Saints 26-21. I mean, these are not pretty wins. Seahawks week 1, they won 17-13, although Seahawks, I think, a pretty darn good team. Sam Darnold, man, maybe he's just a winner these days. Vikings, Seahawks, doesn't matter. You know who's not a winner? The Jags. Give me the Niners. Now, here's the deal, my friends. Right here, they're minus 165. If this scoops down below minus 160 at any point this week, I'm going to run it as an official play for myself. And using the betting model that at minus 160 or better, meaning if they scoot down to minus 158, they fall within straight odds viable. Christian McCaffrey receiving yards continues to cash. I'll turn back to that on Friday's Best Bets video. Ravens and Chiefs. Man, this would have been an epic Sunday night football game. Well, then you look at both teams, you're like, well, hold on. They're both 1-2, but I'd still take them over the Packers and Cowboys. This could be a good game, though. I don't want to shun this one. This Monday night game we'll talk about in the end, but yikes. Ravens and Chiefs could be very interesting. It's two teams I think that a lot of people thought would be better than the Bills this year, and both don't even have the same amount of Bills wins when they combine their records. But they do have more losses. I'm not entirely sure what to do with this game. I want to take Patrick Mahomes, and I'm going to because he's a plus 134. And the Ravens defense is so suspect that I feel like even the Chiefs' miserable-looking offense can put some points on the board, especially if Xavier Worthy returns this week. That being said, if the Ravens put another 30-plus points on the board, which they've done in all 4 weeks, can the Chiefs score points to cover that type of deficit that they might be under if another team scores 30 on them? I don't know. I don't like to bet on inept offenses, but I do like to bet on Patrick Mahomes. Give me Mahomie as an underdog at home at Arrowhead, plus 134. They lost last time at home. I don't think they do this time. Next up, we got the Bears and the Raiders. And before I bet on them, because we got great odds for either side, hang tight. And before we get to that Raiders and Bears pick, I just want to say thank you to my YouTube community. The positivity and the genuine comments I see every single video, the amount of likes I see in the video are insane. I am humbled to the core that so many people have decided I am worthy of a follow. And then on top of that, not only did you decide to follow, but you decided to like the video, and then you typed in a comment. I understand that those might not be the biggest decisions in life, but they are decisions. And then you're also following through with them. So thank you for those small acts of kindness. They go a long way for me and make a big impact. Most small acts of kindness do. Keep that in mind in your day-to-day. All right, Bears and Raiders, my friends. What do we do here? Well, for me, I just talked about it. I'm not a big fan of this game. I don't want to bet on it, but because I do this for every game and on every video, and because I make a pick in every single video, I got to do it. We just saw the Bears win a tough one against the Cowboys. Maybe it wasn't tough. I think the Cowboys are a better team than the Raiders, and they won 31-14. I'll take the better offense in this one. I'll take the slightly better odds. But again, this is a pick for video's sake, one pick in every game. I don't feel great about it. On the betting model, they were a bottom 3 confidence pick out of 16 games. Good luck. Packers, Cowboys, Packers, minus 300 road favorites. You got to think it's a bounce back spot. Cowboys are 0-3. You're going to start hearing some nasty things out there from the fan base. I'm sure you Cowboy fans out there already are hearing it. Maybe I just haven't caught wind of it yet. I think the Packers get themselves right into this one. Give me the minus 300. And that's your Sunday night football. And by the way, Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, you know it. Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm here live on YouTube. A little bit of analysis, some fair amount of player props, some game talk, but most of it is just pure degeneracy. We build a lot of parlays. We talk about climbing ladders for player props, a lot of Q&A with my chat. They're fun shows. I hope you tune in Monday, Thursday, Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Basically ask yourself, hey, is football being played today? If so, then I am live on YouTube at 9 a.m. And I'm going to be honest, it's so early in the week. We still have 5 days before this game is played as the time of my recording. And I don't want to bet on this game. But if we're going to talk about two crummy teams and you're going to give me a plus 138, I'll take the plus 138 just because I think it's such a volatile spot. Who the heck knows who's going to win this one? But I'm happy to bet a little sprinkle on the plus 138. Now, am I ready to put my actual doll hairs on it? No. 5 days away. I don't even know who's going to be the quarterback out there for the Jets yet. But for the sake of the video, give me the Jets on Monday Night Football on the road against the Dolphins that just don't trust. I also don't trust the Jets. Tune back in Monday morning to see what we do for real. I hope you enjoyed today's show. 1 pick per game. I'll be back Thursday morning live show for Thursday Night Football. 1 prop bet for every game on Friday. 1 touchdown pick for every game on Saturday. And then Sunday morning, 9 a.m., we run it back with another live show. Thank you so much for being a part of my YouTube community. I'm starting to see a lot of names I recognize in the comments after each video, and that's pretty darn cool. That means I've got some pretty cool people there that I can start having conversations with down below. So thanks for that, too. I love y'all. Appreciate you. Spread that kindness into the world. Remember, little acts of kindness make big impacts for others. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Let's get paid.